Our SuperTruck Series by Craftsman. Tonight it's the Pizza Plus 150, and you can always tell when the pit guy gets to open the show. It's raining, and I don't know why that is, but we've got 28 trucks. Normally the trucks are out drying the track. Well, we've got 28 SuperTrucks standing by to go racing here. But as you can tell by looking at the umbrellas and the track, we have had about an hour's worth of rain, and it is still coming down. But you know what the nicest part for me is? My two cohorts upstairs are also out in the rain for a change instead of that wonderful, comfortable booth. Dave Despain, Benny Parsons, welcome to the wet stuff.
He'd been gloating over that for, what, 15, 20 minutes now.
Can you imagine? Yeah, we got to stand out in the rain to do this, Marty. Man, I'm telling you.
Here's the situation. You don't have a necktie on, do you?
You know, if you just showed up at the meeting, if you had only showed up at the meeting.
I was the pioneer of the no necktie look. We on NASCAR today took it upon ourselves to relieve ourselves of the ties. You guys have a meeting and I don't get invited. I'm disappointed.
You were invited, you didn't show up.
Oh, okay.
And if you know, at a racetrack, if you'd miss the driver's meeting, you go to the rear of the field.
Funny you should mention that. That happened right here in this race. If we get this race started, and the cheers of the fans tell me that they're very optimistic that that may happen. I think they're going to get the jet dryer out here momentarily. If, in fact, we get this race started, 8 of the top drivers are going to start at the back of the field for precisely that reason. They didn't show up for the meeting.
They missed the driver's meeting. They were about 15 minutes late, and NASCAR said, hey, guys, to the back of the field.
And we're talking about some of the good guys, including the fastest qualifier, Mike Skinner, the man who has dominated this series in terms of poles and victories. Ruttman will also have to go to the back. Hornaday will go to the back of the field. Jeff Bodine of the Winston Cup Series coming in.
He ought to know better. I mean, Bodine is old enough to know better.
8 drivers in all going to the back after the first pace lap. So that'll make an interesting wrinkle. You know, they had experimented with an inversion rule anyway. The fast qualifier was drawing a pill to determine whether 4, 6, or 8 positions would be inverted. They decided they didn't need to invert them here. They did it themselves.
But they didn't have a 21 pill in the bottle, believe me.
It's going to make an interesting situation with some of the fastest cars, trucks, coming from the back and headed for the front. We hope it'll happen here this evening, and we can bring it to you live on ESPN. If not, we're all set to cover it tomorrow with the rain delay. But at this juncture, they're telling us that the weather is moving out and that they can dry this racetrack fairly quickly. They do have a jet dryer.
They have a jet dryer, and they have several trucks, probably 30, 45 minutes.
All right, so we're hoping to bring it to you live, and worst case is we'll tape it. We'll get it for you one way or another here on ESPN. Now, for those of you who may have missed it, the last venture for these drivers was particularly exciting and interesting. In fact, you got mail from people who questioned whether the race could have been as exciting as you made it sound when we covered these guys June 3rd in Louisville.
I had people call me and say, what kind of pills are you and Despain on? I want some of those. It could not have been that exciting. There's even letters that said, hey, Benny, cut me some slack. The race could not have been that exciting. But, folks, trust me, it was that exciting. You just watch.
You're splattered me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was terrific. It's what we call our rain fill. We're going to take another look at it. We'll get down in the booth, out of the rain, keep our eyes on the situation here while we take you back to Louisville, June 3rd. Watch the taped excitement and hope for live excitement soon. As a mere mist, the jet is out on the racetrack. Another little blower working along pit road in anticipation of what we hope will be a start yet tonight of the NASCAR SuperTruck race by Craftsman, the 9th round of the series and the race for this lucrative championship. We've got about $151,000 on the line tonight for the Chevy, Ford, and Dodge trucks. The fans are hanging in here with us in anticipation of the start. We are going to continue our taped coverage of the Louisville round 8 of this series and keep you posted on developments here at Bristol as we continue to hope to see the SuperTrucks tonight on ESPN. Back to Louisville. That I hate to say it's back, but it's close to back.
It won't go away, folks. We had it made. It had stopped raining. The racetrack was almost dry. And guess what? The rain comes back.
Just as we got rid of our umbrellas, too. Ain't we smart? Let's go to Marty Reed and get a trackside update. Marty?
I refuse to get the umbrella back out. The track is actually looking good down here. And, guys, I don't know where you're at. Down here towards turn 1, it's actually slowed down again, so I'm keeping fingers crossed. You may be able to hear the motor noise in the background. These crews are ready to go. They are warming them up, hoping that we're going to be going here in just a matter of minutes.
Well, the bottom line is this is not rain. This is the aftermath, heavy dew, fog. It's not rain. The front has gone through. The stormy weather's over, and I think there's a pretty good shot we're going to run today.
It's raining.
It's raining. But it's not getting the racetrack wet yet. And in the meantime, we got a terrific truck race from Louisville to show you on videotape. So we're going to get back to the Louisville business, and we'll just keep you up to date on what's happening here. We continue to hope that the NASCAR SuperTruck.
I hear a noise. Marty Reed, what is that noise I hear?
Hey, it is the thunder of V8 horsepower. And I'll tell you what, there's some very happy faces. One of them is Walker Evans. He's been sitting in the car for 20 minutes. This guy's got to leave for Crandon, Wisconsin right after this race. He is a points leader in the Soda Off-Road Series. He's got a race there tomorrow. Then on the other end of the spectrum, P.J. Jones wants this race to go. You know why? He already gave up his room for the night.
Everybody's got their own problem. We're going to get her in tonight, but that means we got to fast forward that videotape so we can show you the finish from Louisville. You'll get 2 finishes for the price of 1 tonight on your Bargain Motorsports Network. We'll go back to Louisville and wrap up the truck race there and come back with another one live right after it. Stay with us. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, live from Bristol International Raceway in Tennessee for the Pizza Plus 150, the NASCAR SuperTruck Series by Craftsman. And the trucks have just this moment rolled out onto the high bank half mile. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain along with Benny Parsons. Hey, we're an hour late, but we're live and they're running. We're going to have a race tonight.
We're going to have a race, and we're going to do it on some racetracks that you're finally familiar with, folks.
We come back to Bristol, a Winston Cup racetrack. You've seen it a lot here on ESPN. We've seen it a lot. These drivers haven't seen it from the cockpit, and that may be a big deal tonight.
Exactly. These drivers have not seen it. Folks, if you're a Winston Cup fan or a motorsports fan, you've been seeing a lot of racetracks with the SuperTrucks you haven't seen before. But now you're in Bristol, Tennessee, a racetrack you're very familiar with. And the starting grid that we're going to show you, forget about that. Marty Reed, it has changed.
Has changed dramatically as 8 members of this starting field, including 3 of our top 5 in points, and our pole sitter, Mike Skinner, were late for the drivers' meeting. They are going to go to the back of the field. It's sort of like if you were the first 20, you might feel like chum in a pool of sharks, because there are 8 man-eaters at the back of this field that are going to be chewing their way to the front. And you got to believe that these guys are going to be making tracks. This is only 150 laps, and if you remember, 150 laps, it only takes about 15, 16 seconds to get around this racetrack. So from that standpoint, these guys are going to have to make fast tracks if they want to get back to the front of the pack. If anybody can do it, Mike Skinner can, because as you saw from that Louisville race, he was able to come from an early spin from the back of the pack and go all the way to victory lane. David, back to you.
Skinner has been to victory lane 4 times, qualified on the pole tonight, but as Marty reports, will have to go to the back because of that driver meeting episode. We'll take a look at the starting lineup. This is the way they qualified. It's Skinner and Sammy Swindell with a good qualifying run in 2nd spot, and then comes Joe Ruttman and Jimmy Hensley, the Winston Cup star, who has a new ride in Winston Cup that we'll talk about later, in 4th starting spot here tonight. He did make it to the drivers' meeting. Rick Corelli and Toby Butler are 6th and 7th. Then comes Ron Hornaday starting 8th, with Jeff Bodine of the Winston Cup Series making one of his truck appearances here this evening. He also missed the drivers' meeting. We'll go to the back. Same with Paige Jones. 31, of course, starting at 11th spot is Jack Sprague, comes out of Concord, North Carolina. Mike Bliss with a new number on the truck, but it's the same truck. Bliss is the USAC open wheel champion, of course, from the Silver Crown division. Walker Evans with his busy weekend starts 13th. The coach is 14th, Jerry Glanville. 15th is Steve Portengay out of California with Bill Sedgwick alongside. Scott Lagasse, the road racer from Florida, and Bob Strait are 17th and 18th. And Keselowski, the ARCA veteran in the Dodge, and Kerry Teague alongside. The 21st spot belongs to Randy Churchill. He shares the row with Steve McEachern. Bob Brevac and Jerry Churchill, Randy's daddy, are in the next row. T.J. Clark and Kirk Shelmerdine. Yes, he of former Winston Cup crew chief fame. Nemechek, this is John Nemechek, will be starting in the back row with Tim Nooner, who's not expected to go very long here tonight. That truck is in trouble. Benny?
And Mike Chase also added to the field. Track description: Bristol, Tennessee, 5.533 mile oval, front stretch and back stretch both 650 feet. Turns are banked 36 degrees. That's not a misprint, folks. 36 degrees. Straightaway 16 degrees. Tonight we have in-truck cameras. There we see Walker Evans as he goes by P.J. Jones. That's our camera in the Die Hard Chevrolet. Ron Hornaday, the Papa John's piece of Chevrolet. This is the Dale Earnhardt-owned Chevrolet, or I should say Teresa Earnhardt-owned Chevrolet.
And I would think that now we're going to go on board with Mike Bliss. This will be Mike Bliss's view, looking out the back. He hopes at the whole field here this evening. Of the statistics that you quoted, I think the definite significant one is that 36-degree banking. This is a real rock on a spring racetrack, 118 miles an hour. They'll go 150 laps, take a break after 76. There you see that qualifying speed. This is the first time the trucks have run here, and the purse is $151,000, which is worth waiting around an hour for the rain to stop and get out there and go do your day's work for it. That, of course, is in addition to all the money that Ford and Chevrolet put up for their teams that run in this series, simply because it's so important for the marketing of pickup trucks. You see the rain showers have left their mark on the pit road, but the racetrack is dry and ready as 29 trucks, 13 Fords, 13 Chevys, and 3 Dodges prepare to go to work. Marty, final opportunity to report from pit road before we go green.
Well, as sometimes happens when we get on a dry race surface, and if you have to come into pit lane, these guys are going to have to do some very touchy work. Watch what happens. You got little pools here. You can see how they'll splash up. Anybody comes in here a little too fast on race slicks that are very hot, we could see some tiptoeing and some sliding right into the wall.
They got about 3 more laps, I believe, Benny, before they're going to turn them loose. That'll give them a final opportunity to drive what they can there along pit road, make sure that the racetrack surface itself is ready to rock and roll.
And you can see what has happened, and Mike Skinner's truck has stopped. The Goodwrench truck has stopped coming off. Now he's going again. Evidently, he was adjusting the steering wheel or something. I started to say just a moment ago that you could see that Skinner has fallen back in his rightful position. He would argue with that statement. He feels like his rightful position is up on the pole, but back in 21st spot or wherever he's going to start. And we saw that the 38 truck is on the pole. That's the Sammy Swindell.
And Swindell's never let a lap, so he's got a golden opportunity here this evening. They will be shuffling this field, and that inversion involves some of the top guys in the point standings. Skinner, as we said, is going to the back. He's the point leader. Note that there are 75 points from first to fourth. That is a tight battle. Butch Miller is second, Joe Ruttman third. Those are both Fords. Then Hornaday and another Chevy, and Skinner, Ruttman, and Hornaday are all going to start in the back. Sedgwick is 5th ranked. And there's the rest of your top 10. A pretty even split between the brands up front, but Chevy's been winning all the races.
They've won all the races, won 8 races, and I think they've won all the pole positions, and they've led the majority of the laps in the SuperTruck series this year.
So is this like Winston Cup now? We ought to start changing all the rules around to help the Fords, or is there some other phenomenon at work here? It's not so much a brand superiority, it's just 2 real good teams.
I think it's just 2 good teams. I think that Richard Childers, when he achieved the sponsorship from GM Goodwrench on this truck, they said, look, we want you to go out and do well. And Childers took it to heart, and he has really worked hard. He, Rich Burgess, the crew chief, the team manager, Will Lynn, that entire crew. You know, this is the crew on the 3-car truck. I said car. The 3 truck is the same crew that was crewing the 14 Winston Cup car last year, the Bailey Hagan car.
They've won 4 races, 3 won by Hornaday, also in a Chevy. Marty Reed on pit road.
Jerry Glanville has pulled in before the start of this race. They are on the work on the right side and believe they think they've got a broken shock. It's amazing how these things can happen just on a pace lap that you couldn't see it before, but it is definitely, they got some work cut out for him. I think he will not make it in time for the start.
Well, everybody knows things will break just sitting there on pit road waiting for the race to start. And we have a possible word of another change back there. Did you pick that up, Benny?
Yeah, the truck in the very back. That is Mike Chase. That's supposed to be the 62 truck. Right now, there's 2 number 6s on the racetrack. And if you and I can figure out which one is Corelli and which one is Chase, we'll be doing real good.
Right now, Corelli is the one closer to the front. There you see that number 6 of the High Plains Drifter, and he will be lining up on the inside of row 2 as we prepare to go green.
We are going green this time. The light is atop the Pace truck. Sammy Swindell and Jimmy Hensley. That's Hensley in the red number 30 on the outside. Corelli in the 3rd spot, and Toby Butler in the 4th spot. Going to bring him down. Let's see, is the Pace truck going to... Yes, he dives away.
Hang on, ladies and gentlemen. We're live at Bristol, and an hour and 15 minutes late. The green flag flies, and we're underway. Swindell goes side by side with Hensley. Will one of these guys is going to lead his first lap of the season when they get back to the start finish line? Which one is it going to be?
It's going to be Hensley. Swindell still has, you jinxed him when you said it. He still hasn't led a lap.
Well, neither had Hensley. This is his first appearance in the SuperTruck Series. I guarantee you he knows his way around this racetrack. There is Skinner, and he's knocking him off in a hurry. Watch this boy go to the front. They had initiated an inversion procedure for the last race at Louisville. They didn't need it here tonight because all the fast guys relegated themselves to the back by missing the driver's meeting. This guy will be passing.
And that's Joe Rutman, the red Ford, trying to get by Walker Evans Dodge. Trying to get on the inside, can't do it. I think both Rutman and Skinner are now. He's on the inside of Walker Evans, and looks like he'll take the spot away.
Skinner will go right with him if he can. Takes the position away from Walker, who will slip back a spot and say, my goodness, those boys do go fast around that 36-degree banking. They have some significant experience in this type of competition. Walker, for all his years of experience in motorsports, much less a veteran of the high bank oval tracks, and this place is as high bank as they could. Rutman and Skinner on a march to the front. They've caught Legacy. Here's the gap back to the leader. They're not quite a half lap behind Jimmy Hensley. And let's break the suspense. Hensley has a Winston Cup ride for the rest of the year, and is he pumped about that?
The MB&A Pontiac, the Bill Davis Pontiac, formerly driven by Randy LaJoy. That, Jimmy Hensley's going to be the new driver.
Got a truck in trouble up the top of turn 4.
That's the Clark truck. These wires are cut on the inside, outside, and just stayed up there.
And looks like the 81. That would be Glanville still having problems. They got back out onto the racetrack, but obviously not at speed. So Glanville is going to be headed back to pits for more attention. The coach from Houston and more recently Atlanta, Harley Davidson fan, drag races, motorcycles. First game on, he said, I got to do that. Well, here's the story. Jimmy Hensley jumps out in front of him early.
Man, he has said, see ya. He has checked out.
Going to have to lap traffic real early here. We're working on, 10 laps or so, and he's already caught the back of the field and heading for the traffic jam, 9 laps down.
Here we see Jeff Bodine trying to get on the inside of Walker Evans. He does that. That's Hornaday in the 16.
And PJ. 3 more fast guys who had to start at the back because of the driver's meeting deal. Bodine has finished top 5 in one of his 3 previous runs in the SuperTrucks. He owns the team. His crew chief is the driver when Jeff's off doing cup races. So it's a kind of an interesting situation. Tonight's crew chief is back in his crew chief role. And Jeff gets to handle the wheel.
There's P.J. Jones trying to close up on the back of Hornaday. That's Hornaday's Papa John's car, looking back at the die-hard car of P.J. Jones' truck.
That's 2 for you.
I know.
We're raising money for the Snell Foundation. We got to pop a buck at the pot every time one of us says car instead of truck.
Oh, we got a spin. That's one of the 6 trucks. I'm not sure which one.
Is it Corelli or Chase?
I'm not sure.
They are dead identical. It was a late entry for Mike Chase, and they're saying it's Corelli, and he beat her up pretty bad. If, in fact, that is Corelli, that is going to hurt the chances of a guy who had hoped to, looks like Corelli on the top of the door. He's hurt it, and
he has hurt it badly.
It's a guy a lot of us thought had a pretty good shot at him here tonight. Corelli's been a bit frustrated. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, I guess that was Corelli because he was in front of Butch Miller and Toby Butler in those trucks.
Now, who got beat up behind him?
Ooh, the 20. Is that the 84? Yes, the 84 of
that's
Rutman.
Rutman and Legacy, who tangled in an attempt to get around that. Didn't look like a hard hit, but it doesn't take a whole lot. Corelli, meanwhile, did take a hard lick as he went in there backward and has bent the car rather badly. Rick Corelli out of Denver, the Total Petroleum Chevrolet, showing total damage across the back.
And folks be wondering why he's out there and he doesn't go in the pits and fix the truck. They're trying to catch up with the pace car and then go in and start working on the truck.
Well, the truck definitely needs some work. We are live from Bristol International Raceway on what has turned out to be a lovely night in Tennessee. Hensley's the leader. We'll be back with more of the Craftsman SuperTrucks. Here at Bristol International Raceway as Hensley, the leader, jumps out front, and here come a whole gaggle of trucks who had to start at the back. 84 is Rutman, 3 is Skinner. They're in a traffic jam with Bodine, and they're bumping at Bristol.
Man, they are bumping and going. man, oh man, this is from Hornaday. Oh, and the 3-car had to jump out of the throttle, and Hornaday drives alongside.
It's like a flat-out pace lap as they run 2x2. There's Skinner wedging his way up a position. Hornaday could not get through the opening, and now they go 3 wide down the corner. That was P.J. Jones on the outside making a big move. Hornaday's not going with him. Hornaday's a birthday boy, celebrated his 37th on the 20th. What was that, a week ago? Skinner is 38 today. Did that be right? Or tomorrow?
Now they're 3 abreast again, right in front. And Bodine goes by on the outside of Churchill, on the inside of Hornaday. Wow.
Bodine not afraid to muscle his way through. They asked Bodine, and once they finally got that controversial drivers meeting convened, they asked Bodine to speak on behalf of those experienced with Bristol and give the boys who had not been here before a little advice. And he said, quote, consider changing professions. It's a tough racetrack.
There we see Jeff Bodine. That's the Exide Batteries truck. Ford truck.
Well, he commits to that opening, doesn't he? And he gets through. He doesn't want to let Skinner get away. He figures that's a good man to follow the front. Skinner's won 7 of these things. Bodine and Resende's prepared number 7. And now from Hornaday's truck, we see them trying to go 3 wide there.
Bob Reed back there on the inside and outside of.
PJ coming with him. Yeah. That time Hornaday got the best of it by far as PJ finally gets around and leaves Churchill side by side with Breback, who had a real hard crash in the ARCA race at Michigan. I said Breback was Kerry Teague, or Churchill was Kerry Teague in the 51. He's got some short track experience. He knows his way around these kinds of ovals. But Bristol's a tough little place. What is the hardest thing about Bristol?
Because you have to drive through the corner so very hard. You go down in the corner, right there, you back off the throttle, you hit that bank and back on the throttle, driving around. There's just so little time to relax at Bristol. You get around the racetrack in about 17 seconds, and about 15 of that, you're under some kind of pressure. And there we see the leader, Jimmy Hensley, once again is saying, see you guys.
Boy, he is hooked up. For a guy who's never driven one of these things, he's obviously figured it out. Keep in mind, it is pretty much a Winston Cup chassis with a silhouette truck body hung on it. It's a combination that a lot of people think is going to be a motorsport star in the future in terms of series.
They're second, third, and fourth. Sammy Swindell, the channel lock truck, is second. The 98 truck, Butch Miller, is third, and Toby Butler, the Ortho truck, is fourth.
Now, it is not a rule that Butch Miller has to be third. It's only coincidental. He's going to get into the back of Swindell and instead gets into Butler. Butch in the 98, the Ford, has been third in the last 4 races and is currently running in that spot, and he doesn't like that. He wants to win these things.
That 54 truck, Steve McCurchin, on the inside as these guys go by. There goes Butch Miller. There goes Butler. And there's our second place truck, Sammy Swindell.
Keegan a lap down as Swindell goes to work on the 23 truck of T.J. Clark, who's now a couple of laps down. Swindell has adapted to this truck business very effectively. Sprint car racer, succeeding in trucks where his World of Outlaws counterpart was unable to do so. Of course, Steve Kinzer is back in the sprints after an aborted stock car career. 75 is Bill Sedgwick, and he's on the move. He's 5th ranked in the series standings.
He's currently 7th, and Bob Strait is running 8th in the 37, the black 37 truck.
Sedgwick's an interesting guy. He started his career in stock car racing as a crew chief out on the a crewman, a tire changer out on the West Coast for the legendary Herschel McGriff, and he's been in and out of the cockpit. Now he is driving again. He used to be Hornaday's crew chief.
That's a 9th place truck. Joe Rutman, Ernie Irvin, and the Zemo fellas with No Fear.
And that's from what, 22nd starting spot, I believe, for Rutman, as he was penalized with that. So he's passed an awful lot of trucks in 32 laps.
Trying his best to get by Bob Strait. He knows he's got to put the pressure on Strait because the bet 3 truck, Mike Skinner, the second truck back, gets in front of him. Steve Portigan, the coffee critic, 83 between Rutman and Skinner.
Ooh, he got a little sideways there. I don't know if Skinner tapped him in the back or not. May have been a coming through message there. Portigan got loose for a minute, gathered it back up, and still has Skinner behind him.
They're straight on the inside of Sedgwick, but there's three back right in front, but he makes that spot. Here comes Rutman. He gets by as well. And also the three truck.
Marty Reed.
Well, we're bringing an update on Rick Corelli. He's 6th in the points.
Oh, we got trouble. Got one on the wall here. That's
we got a crash. Let's go back out the track.
Portengay hitting the wall at turn 1. So the coffee critic machine has been shortened up on the left rear. And he brings it back down to pit road.
He's going down the back pits. I guess, I don't know if they have pits back there or not, if he would just, this car will not roll. Oh, look at this.
You got a substantial handling problem, Benny.
He does have a substantial handling problem.
Contributed to, I believe, by the water on pit road.
I think the rear panhard bar is broken on that car. Let's see if we can replay can tell what happens. Looks like that he might have had some help from Legacy. I don't know for sure.
They were certainly close together. Whether or not they got together, that would be the second contact in which Legacy has been involved. You saw Hornaday slip by on the bottom as Steve Portengay slaps the wall. Here's another look at it. Look for contact. Yeah, it had already happened.
Whatever had happened.
There goes Hornaday.
If there was contact, it had already happened there. So we can't say for sure.
Portengay's pretty good West Coast race truck driver. Comes out of that Featherlight Southwest tour. And Ukiah, California is home for him. This will be the second caution of the night on lap 37. We are live from Bristol. Race delayed by rain. This is the man who has dominated it thus far. And I guess it's not a huge surprise. Jimmy Hensley has a tremendous amount of experience on this racetrack. 16 Busch Series starts and 2 Winston Cup races. Benny?
Jimmy Hensley still the leader. Watch as he goes by P.J. Jones.
Boom.
Comes off the corner.
Boom.
Down in turn 1.
Boom. That's just, if it ain't right.
Whoa, and the one truck, P.J. almost lost control as the 30 truck, Hensley puts P.J. a lap down.
Rubbing is racing, they say, when they get to the short tracks, and you do a little rubbing at Bristol for sure.
P.J. Jones decided he's going to make a pit stop. You can't change tires, so maybe they're going to make an adjustment. Marty Reed, what's going on down there?
Well, down with Steve Portengay, they are working to repair the damage on the left rear. They also had to change a tire on the left front. It looks like the most severe damage is on the left rear, but he will be able to get back into the race. I'm not so sure about Rick Corelli. We were telling you about him. They are working on the rear end of that car. The suspension was bent, and some of it was broken, and they're going to be in here for at least a long time, and his 6th place standings is definitely in jeopardy.
So as the work continues on Portengay's truck, P.J. Jones making a stop, and the rules do not allow a tire change here unless the tire is damaged. So P.J. is apparently going for a chassis fix. We'll be back with more from Bristol live right after this. We're back live. We've gone green for exactly 1 lap. Jimmy Hensley jumping back out in front. If you're a baseball fan, baseball tonight will be along after Sports Center. Sports Center will follow the truck race. And the truck race, of course, was delayed by rain here for a little more than an hour. Since the green wave, Jimmy Hensley has dominated it, led every lap. We've just had a caution for the reigning Southwest Tour champion, Steve Portengay. And now we're back to green, and I can't see that the thing has changed as far as the lead is concerned.
Well, it looks like Swindell is a little closer to Jimmy Hensley than he has been. That Dodge number 30 is, there we see the Dodge truck has been able to take off, but right now Swindell is hanging pretty tight.
Let's talk about this. Here it comes. Whoa,
something's wrong with the 30.
McEachern.
Something's wrong with the 30. Maybe the caution flag was out.
He may have seen the caution. McEachern spun in traffic in the 54.
And that's some heavy, heavy contact.
He hit a ton. He's moving around in there, and he's okay.
We hope. He is moving around, yes. Man, he hit a ton.
A traffic jam as I believe it was Hornaday trying to go by on the bottom. We'll get another look at it and see how this all developed.
Let's see, there's McEachern in the 54, and there's Hornaday. And your Hornaday is trying to go by, and the 51 Kerry Teague just catches him in the right rear and just turns him head on in the wall.
That's an ugly feeling. That's not the way you want to hit it, Bristol.
No.
Another angle. He's already thumped it at that point.
Yep.
Comes up and gives another little tap just to make sure he got both ends of it. McEachern.
And guess what, Dave? Jimmy Hensley.
You spotted it, didn't you?
In the red truck, Dodge truck, in the pits, and the truck slowed down just before that caution flag. We couldn't tell if something happened to the truck or it was for the caution, but obviously it was something happened to the truck. Man.
Several different drivers have been in this truck this year. This is Hensley's first start in it. Troy Beebe, I believe, had a 4th place finish in that truck in the series opener, and things look pretty promising. Or Joe Bessie, rather, and things look pretty promising for the Dodge early on. They've struggled since then. He's gone a lap behind, and so for the first time, he finally got her handled. Swindell has led a lap now in SuperTruck racing. It was this lap under yellow as Hensley took it to the pits, and the Dodge folks are here tonight to take a look at this series and evaluate the program as they're doing it now and ponder what they might be doing for the future. It's a very big series for truck customers across the country. Let's get an update from Marty Reed.
Well, Dodge's hopes to get their first SuperTruck victory suffered a severe blow. Jimmy Hensley is out of this race. He's unbuckling. The hood is already back down. They have blown the motor. We'll try and get to talk to Jimmy as soon as we can.
A short night for Hensley, but well, he's got to have mixed emotions. Certainly disappointed over this, but pumped up about the opportunity to get a new Winston Cup ride and to drive that series for the rest of the year in the Pontiac. We'll take a quick break as you take a look at the field summary. Swindell, the leader. We'll be right back. We're back live at Bristol. We are under caution for the McEachern crash, and as you take a look at the field summary, we mark the progress of the guys like Ruttman, who started in the back and has come all the way to 6th. Skinner, who started back there and has come to 8th. Hornaday started in the back, is up to 10th. We'll run you on down through the rest of the field. Again, the crash by currently 23rd ranked McEachern is the reason for the current caution, and we can give you another look at how we got to this point.
Once again, you'll see the 51 Kerry Teague just touch him in the right rear and turn him head on in the wall.
A glancing blow across the front, but it sure beat that truck up.
Yeah.
And I think we've got an in-car view of the same.
From Ron Hornaday. Let's listen. Wow.
It is like a war zone out there.
Out the back.
And as that was all happening, Jimmy Hensley heard a sound he didn't like very much either, the sound of a blown motor. He is with Marty Reed.
I'll tell you, as a very disappointed Jimmy Hensley, you had him covered there. I mean, you were really flying.
I tell you, Grill Lakers Dodge, Fred and all the guys just did a super job on the truck. You know, we messed up qualifying. We thought we had a real legitimate shot, you know, sitting on the pole, and they got a little sideways with me qualifying. But, you know, the truck in the race was super. Just couldn't ask for anything to drove better.
You think you, Keselowski, and Walker Evans are showing enough to Dodge for them to get more involved in this program?
I think we showed tonight, you know, the Dodge certainly has potential. You know, the truck ran really well. You know, just messed up with the motor a little bit there, dropped a valve or something. But, you know, I think Dodge might get involved a little more maybe.
Well, let's end this on a bright note. How about the Winston Cup ride? How you feel?
Really excited about Bill Davis getting that ride. You know, that's a good opportunity for him, and hopefully we can make the best of it.
Well, guys, I got to tell you one bit of bad news. It's starting to rain down here again.
We saw that, Marty.
I saw that behind you, Marty Reed. I didn't.
Well, there's where we are. There's where the showers fall. A contemplative look at the field as Sammy Swindell leads it. We'll be back. We're back live at Bristol. The Pizza Plus 150 here. The NASCAR SuperTruck Series by Craftsman. In what is now, I guess, officially a rain delay for yellow.
Is that rain I see? That is rain I see.
I believe it is. Yeah, we should be intimately acquainted with that after the evening that we've spent up on the roof.
Yes, we should.
The showers.
It looks all too familiar.
We are hoping that this rain will abate. Right now, there's just enough of it to, well, you can see what it does. Tomorrow, you're going to see the Powerade 250 at 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock out on the left coast, and that will be the All-Pro cars live here from Bristol, Tennessee. It's a triple-header weekend, and you get all 3 of them on ESPN, and I'm not sure about that Goodies Dash series, when that's going to air. We'll bring you that information as soon as we have it. But Sammy Swindell sitting out in front thinking, hey, maybe this ain't so bad for me. Let's get her to halfway and then give me the money. But I'll bet they won't do that.
No, they're not going to run another 25 laps to just put the money in Sammy Swindell's pocket. Once again, we'll take a look at the full field summary. This is from Mike Bliss, Ultra Wheels Ford, on top of his roof. There we see Swindell, Butch Miller, Toby Butler, Jack Sprague, Mike Bliss, Joe Ruttman, Bob Strait, Mike Skinner, all the way up to 8th. As Dave told you just a moment ago, Bill Cedric, Ron Hornaday, Scott Lagacy, Jeff Bodine, Bob Keselowski, P.J. Jones, and Walker Evans. That's the top 15 trucks. There we see Kerry Teague, Randy Churchill, Bob Breback, Jimmy Hensley out of the race, Kirk Shelmerdine in the 65 truck. That's the Ken Allen truck out of Shelby. Jerry Churchill, T.J. Clark, Steve McKeechin. Yes.
Off-road racing.
Yes. And by the way, he told me he's moving to Concord, North Carolina.
Don't get serious about this stock car business and stock truck business in this case. Marty, if he's listening, may be able to tell us a little more about some changes that have taken place on the Mike Bliss truck and the Mike Bliss team. Those of you looking for number 06 won't find it out there tonight. Marty, you tuned into what's happening there?
Yeah, we talked to team owner Jim Smith and asked him about it. And he said, well, we really wanted number 2 all along and could not get it at the beginning of the season. And then another team that had the number relinquished it, so NASCAR gave the approval, and the change was made earlier today.
And there you're riding in that truck owned by the guy who won the Baja 1000 last year, Jimmy Smith, one of the 4 men who really created super truck racing and brought the idea to NASCAR. We'll be back to make the rain stop right after this. Winston Cup car will cut this lap at 15.3, 15.4, call it, and 35 minutes to run the race if they ran that speed. There's the speed comparison for the super trucks as they lapped at 16.160. And if you throw the red flag, they both run exactly the same speed, which is 0. They will pull them onto pit road and stop them, Benny, because it's too wet to continue. And I'm not going to tell you in specific terms how that makes me feel. I'm very unhappy.
Very unhappy. We see the blue tarps on pit road trying to keep their pit stalls as dry as possible, so when they do make a pit stop, they'll be able to stop the trucks. And we bring them down 2 abreast, and pretty soon they're going to bring them to a stop, and trucks are already on the racetrack.
They're thinking that this won't take long. You can see in the background the concrete is still light colored, and when that concrete gets wet, it gets darker colored, and it's been dark most of the evening here. But the track itself is, I don't think, wet enough yet to necessarily be in a red flag condition. We're getting some more information from the NASCAR officials here, and we'll pass that along to you. We certainly hope to get it in after all the waiting that we've done here. We're working lap 57. We're working lap 57 at the time of the red flag.
It's quit raining on the backstretch already. It isn't raining back there, so this red flag stop situation should be very, very brief.
So they say. Swindell is the leader. Ruttman is in second spot, and that's the way we'll restart them, we hope, very quickly. Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200 for the Indy cars is yours Sunday on ESPN, 4 o'clock Eastern Time, 1 o'clock out on the West Coast from Portland, Oregon. Interesting racetrack and a good racetrack for the Indy cars. That should be a highly competitive. It's a real road course, not one of those street circuits.
Did you say that Ruttman was in second?
Didn't I say that? Yeah, I did. And didn't I mean Miller? Of course I did.
You meant Butch Miller, right?
You knew that.
I knew.
Well, I just assumed Miller's in third. Now Ruttman is still the 4th place truck, but again, the story there is that he has had to come from the back, and among those who were penalized for missing the drivers' meeting, he's been the most successful thus far. He's passed a bunch of trucks out there.
Yeah, he has. Right now, he is running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, our monitor is incorrect. He is 6th. There we see Swindell, Butch Miller, Toby Butler, Jack Sprague, Mike Bliss, and then Joe Ruttman, and then Bob Strait and Mike Skinner.
Whole lot different weekend for Swindell than what you saw on videotape earlier this evening at Louisville, where Swindell got wrecked before he ever got out of the pit area for practice, collided with the coach there in a little traffic jam, a little missed signal on the entrance to the pit road. He came back and ran decently in the backup truck and then crashed it again. So all in all, that was not a very fun night. Tonight looks better, assuming we can get the rain to stop. Let's find out more from the Swindell camp as we go to Marty Reed.
Well, we're down here with Sammy Swindell, and I know you'd like to hear the best news. It has stopped out here again.
Yeah, I'm having a good time out here with this channel lock truck here tonight. It's running pretty good.
What's been the difference for you? I mean, why is it running so much better?
Well, we've hired some new people, and they've made some changes to the trucks and stuff, and the team's just coming together, and you know it shows on the racetrack.
We've got 57 laps in the book. That means 76 is the magic number. Is that going to change the strategy when we get back out there?
Well, I don't know. You know, we're just going to have to, they're not going to let us do anything right now, so I don't think anybody's going to be able to do much, and, you know, until we get to the break anyway. So hopefully it'll stay like it is, and we can keep it out front.
Well, I have this feeling, guys, that that last lap, at lap number 76, when the break would be scheduled, it will be a real Donnybrook, just in case the rain falls again.
Half plus one is the rule, and they have stopped the trucks here to do a little additional drying on the racetrack, as most of 23,000 fans have stayed here, eagerly awaiting the restart, which we hope will happen soon. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, Benny Parsons would never lie to you, and he told you just a few moments ago that they were just about to get those trucks back out there because it had stopped raining, and you thought, yeah, Benny's doing his best to keep us tuned in, but sure enough, here they are.
You know, you wonder why in the world that NASCAR stopped, red flagged the race for such a brief, what is it,
5 minutes,
5 minutes maybe, but again, they felt like, I guess, that they were stealing money from the spectators that paid money to come tonight and watch this race. And they said, hey, they didn't pay to watch them run around here on the caution flag. Let's stop them, get the racetrack dry, and go back to racing on the green. And so I kind of applaud NASCAR for doing that.
Absolutely. I mean, they could have just let them run around. By the rule book, it's one lap over halfway constitutes a race. They could have let them just parade to what would be a red flag anyway, because they'll stop this race at 76 laps with a mandatory break in the middle. And officially, they had fulfilled their obligation to the fan. They said, nah, we're going to race for it. So they brought them in, stopped it, and they'll have one to go till we go back under green, and we will then have, what, 19 laps to go to the break. And I would predict that Marty called it just right. I expect that'll be a hectic 19 laps because it is not outside the realm of possibility that it could sprinkle again.
You're as bad as Bob Jenkins. It says 58, and that's 18 to 76.
I keep looking at the scoring monitor, which has got me in trouble all night long.
Which is one behind. Don't watch that anymore.
Help me, Parsons.
Okay,
I'm new at this, okay? They're coming around with one to go. You're right, with more today. And this, of course, is the Teresa Earnhardt-owned competitive pizza company. I guess they'd love to take the Pizza Plus money home tonight here. As Swindell leads it. Soft-spoken guy from down in Memphis. Heck of a race car driver, heck of a sprint car driver. What is this, about his third shot, I guess, at stock car or stock truck racing, at NASCAR racing, if you will. And this time, I think he's going to make her stick, Benny. He's getting this truck racing business figured out pretty well.
Sure looks like he's going to make it stick. He ran some Busch Grand National races before.
Ford folks hope he'll win her tonight. I guarantee you that after 8 consecutive victories for Chevrolet.
Right now we have Ford trucks 1, 2, 3. First Chevrolet is Jack Sprague back in 4th place in 31.
The other problem, Parsons, is I can't see that scoreboard. It's too far away, so help me out here, will you? We're coming back to green, and the green will fall on the blue Channel Lock Ford of Sammy Swindell. And we get hustling. Fans are on their feet. We're back underway live at Bristol. The restart on lap 61. Jumped out. Heck of a restart. Walker Evans goes down to the inside, makes way for Rutman to come through in hot pursuit of Mike Bliss. Ooh, and Skinner gives a little love tap to the back of Teague just to let him know that he wants to come by. Opens up the hole and goes right through. Marty Reed.
Well, you mentioned Mike Skinner. The thing we should probably point out, remember, he started back at 21st. He's now worked his way up to 8th. And remember that he was the one who made the best chassis adjustment at the midway point back at Louisville and then marched right to the front.
Man, oh man, he passed him on the apron of the racetrack. Wasn't he on the apron?
He sure was. He had both wheels down on the black, and Walker Evans is saying, you can't run down there.
Yeah. Where did he come from? Now he goes by Bob Strait. That's another. And once again, he goes in on the apron with the left front. That black number 3.
I believe they set her up to run down there, didn't they?
It looks that way. Man, oh man. Now then, Rutman has gotten by Mike Bliss. So does, here comes Skinner.
Skinner's flying.
He is flying.
Now,
wow, did you see Rutman bottom out that time heavily going down in turn 1?
Yeah, 2 things. I've been wanting to ask you about the Bristol fireworks show. You always see the sparks here. Tell me the story behind that.
Well, that's just simply they go in the corner, hit a bump, and the truck Honest out, the chassis drags the racetrack. That's where all the sparks. And we see that Rudman and Skinner has caught Jack Sprague. That's Sprague in the 31.
In traffic, there's the coach pulling out of the way. What do you have to do to the race truck, given that high banking and all that force pushing you into the banking that makes things bottom out and drag? What do you have to do to compensate?
You have to run very, and some contact, but very, very stiff springs on the back of these trucks.
Sprague got way loose, perhaps after a little bit of a butt from Rutman, and a challenge for the lead as Miller goes after Swindell. They are running them hard with a few laps left to the break. That is Swindell and Miller in the Ford battle for the lead, and not far behind them, Rutman and Skinner are all over Sprague. It's a terrific truck race in Bristol on a Friday night. There comes your third, fourth, and fifth place truck.
Fourth, fifth, and sixth right now. Toby Butler, the 21 truck, the Ortho truck, is in third. Oh, they finally got by. Rutman got by. Here comes Skinner.
Skinner is a salty dog. He has really come on strong after this break. They tweaked the chassis, got it just right. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is running down there on a black. I mean, it looks like just a transition from concrete to blacktop, but it's not that simple, is it?
No, it's the transition from 10 degrees banking to 36 degrees banking. And once again, Butch Miller looked on the inside once again of the leader, Sammy Swindell. Here he goes on the inside again.
Working 71, 5 laps from the break. And remember, it pays some extra money from Gatorade at the halfway point. So there's an awful lot of incentive here from the weather and from the folks who write the checks to keep it in front through this half dozen laps that remain in the first segment of the Pizza Plus 150. And there is the 21. Butler closing right up. You've got a 5-truck battle for the lead off turn 4. Can Swindell hang on?
That's Keselowski, the black Dodge in there. He's a lap down to these trucks, but he would love to get a lap back just before the halfway point.
21, Toby Butler out of Kirkland, Washington. That's the yellow Ortho truck. Trouble there for the... Is that Keselowski?
Keselowski moved up, and now we have Rutman and Skinner join the battle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all nose to tail.
Lap truck on the bottom, getting out of the way.
Look at that. Here comes Skinner on the inside, and they make contact, and both the trucks spin.
Simon spin. PJ missed him. No second contact. Nobody hit anything, did they?
Doesn't look that way.
Skinner comes off there just a smoke, and as he gets it gathered back up, that was as pretty as choreography as they both went spinning simultaneously. We are under yellow. 2 laps short of the halfway mark.
Of the money, but they'll probably stop right now and have their halfway point, but they will not be able to pay the money. There's the halfway signal. The Gatorade money will go to the... Let's watch in this replay. Going down in the corner, Skinner goes on the inside, and there he starts to run him in behind the Breback truck. He starts to come up, and they make contact, and around both trucks win.
He wanted to get up and get a little bit in front of Rutman before they got to the corner, but the lap truck was in the way, and in trying to correct, Skinner was already committed, got her sideways, got up into Rutman, and they both spun around. They have both continued, and they provide a fair amount of the fireworks here. Truck 3 will be going to the back of the field.
NASCAR officials are telling us they're going to take Skinner to the back. There he is on the inside, goes up and makes contact. And they say that they're going to put Skinner to the rear of the field. Wow.
Well, I guess you could ask the question where he thought he was going to go, because that lap truck was there. But you also got to think, well, they're getting close to halfway here. A couple of laps to get to the lead. I don't know. Tough call. Rutman back underway, awaiting the return to green. The trucks are headed for pit road. We'll take a quick break and come back with more. Swindell is still the leader. We are back. SuperTrucks by Craftsman come to Tennessee, to Bristol Raceway, and we're tickled to death to see you fans out. Sports Center following the race. Baseball tonight following Sports Center. Appreciate you guys from the stick and ball world cooperating with us tonight as our race got backed up by an hour and 15 minutes because of the shower. Let's get an update from the leader. He got to that halfway point, kept her out front, but he had some challenges along the way. Let's go to Marty Reed.
Well, guys, they have already put a couple of turns into the chassis, and they are working on the left front suspension, and I'm not quite sure what it is. Let me see if I can stick my head in here real quick. they're making some changes up on the left front. What's going on, Sam?
Well, we're just getting a little bit loose, so we're pulling the rubber out to tighten it up a little bit.
So that's the situation from Sammy. Look, let's got a chance. Let's go right up here to Mike Skinner, because NASCAR has put them at the back, guys, and I want to find out if Mike is a real happy camper about this one. I think I already know the answer. Let me see if I can poke my head in here real quick. He's talking to some of the crew. Mike, what about the decision by NASCAR at the contact sending you to the back?
Well, I think it's somebody else's turn to win, I guess. We're going to try to overrule their overruling here and try to get this GM Goodrich service truck back to the front.
Well, you did it at Louisville, so I don't think anybody will count you out just yet, but the only thing that might come into play would be the rain.
Well, you know, it's been one of them days, but like I said, we're going to keep our chin up and keep going. You know, we've had several of these guys cleared, and they chopping us off like it's the last lap every lap, and they just don't want this black truck to get back to the front. But we're going to do the best we can and just go from there. We hope we can get her back.
Well, guys, I got to tell you, I'm sort of glad that Mike likes us, because I know deep down inside he is chomping at the bit.
I thought he put a very nice smile on for that interview. I was impressed. They have sent him to the back as we take a look at the full field rundown. The race is official at this point, although the rain holds off. We will, of course, run the rest of it. Swindell, Miller, Butler, Hornaday, Ruttman, Sprague, Bliss, Strait, Skinner, and Sedgwick. Your top 10. And all the way to the back, that was pre-Skinner's move to the back. He will start from the back. When we restart, we'll take a quick break and come back, and this break will be just about over, and we'll be back to green flag racing. Bristol Pizza Plus 150. Mike Bliss returning to the racetrack. The trucks are beginning to deploy themselves for the restart. We'll get another look at this incident that has resulted in the penalty for Skinner.
This is on top of Mike Bliss Ultra Wheels, and we see the two trucks spinning. That's Skinner on the bottom, the 3, and Ruttman the 84. Bliss puts it in gear and drives by both those. We see Hornaday up there picking up some spots.
And as Mike Bliss, currently in 7th, provided that onboard view, returns to the racetrack, Skinner will be 13th. He'll be at the tail end of the line of trucks on the lead lap when they restart. He made the observation that he'd been chopped off a couple of times, he felt, in passing people en route to the front, although clearly, I think from the replay, that particular incident, he just got in there too hot.
Well, he got in there.
He brought him around.
And Marty Reed has something from the pits. Marty?
Well, guys, thought we'd update you on the 2nd and 3rd place trucks, you know, with the quick turnaround when you get a chance to talk to them. But I stuck my head in with Butch Miller. They are running a little bit tight, so they loosened up the chassis. Same thing with Toby Butler, but they did a little something different. They changed tire pressures. And, Benny, you can explain that better than anybody.
Well, basically, they just make the tire either weaker, or they take the air out to make the tire weaker, which softens that spring, or they put more air in the tire, which makes the sidewall stiffer and will make the tire act like a stronger spring. So they can actually change all 4 springs of the truck just simply by changing air pressure.
There you see your 2nd and 3rd place vehicles here.
Obviously, you can't change the spring, but you can make the chassis act like that you change the springs just by changing air pressure. Each 1 pound of air. Sports Center coming up next, folks. Don't go away. We'll be through with this truck race in about 15-20 minutes.
It doesn't take long to run 75 laps or 74 laps that we have remaining here after the restart. We're going to get another quick break in here, take care of business, and come back for the green flag and the rush to the checker here at Bristol. Here on ESPN Classic with the trucks, and meanwhile the Goodies Dash is over on the Deuce, and you're doing both of them. It's not fair to make money at that rate, Parsons.
That is absolutely making money hand over fist, right?
Hey, you're coming back tomorrow to get some more, right?
Hey, this is a great weekend.
What do you got tomorrow? 8 o'clock tomorrow night, All-Pro, right?
All-Pro. And I'll tell you what, last year's All-Pro race was a terrific race. Well, the last lap is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So it'll be worth coming back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock.
Yes, it will.
I'm going to watch it from my living room. All right, we're going to be ready to rock and roll here in a moment. Let's get a quick update from Marty from the pits.
Well, I want to finish out our top 5 for you, because the number 31, Jack Sprague, he too is complaining of the truck being a little too tight, so they've loosened him up. Interesting enough, keep an eye on Mike Bliss, because they had a bad shock on the right front. The truck was pushing. He's in 5th place after having a bad shock. If they've got that solved, he may be the man to watch here in the second half.
Hey, that cat can drive. He was a great open wheel racer in USAC and is adapting very quickly to the trucks, and he's learned to handle that thing. And they've moved the whole operation down into North Carolina, and I think he's got a career down here south of Mason-Dixon line. His best finish was 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, on the little flat bull ring out of Mesa Marin. So he can get the job done.
I told him this. He should be familiar with this racetrack because it's similar to Winchester, Salem, Indiana tracks that he ran with the open wheel cars. But he said he wanted to be up next to the rail. You know, at Winchester, Salem, you ran the groove. The groove was up near the rail. Here at Bristol, it's right on the bottom.
And does it stay on the bottom?
Yes, it does. And on concrete, it stays there for 500 laps in the Winston Cup race.
So you got to have it working on the bottom as we get ready to restart here. 76 laps are in the book. The rain has interrupted things, first delayed things and then interrupted things, but we have run 76 laps. It is official. And now we're going to go 74 remaining laps as we ride on board with Mike Bliss. Happy birthday, DJ. That would be Smith's dad, wouldn't it? He's a bit of a legend in stock car racing. And
Dale Smith?
Yeah,
man, I'm telling you.
Used to have the pork job business out of Riverside. Made more money than you're making right now being on 2 networks. All right, now we go to Hornaday's truck as he prepares for the restart. 3 times a winner this year for his owner. Those 2 trucks together. Now we're on board with P.J. Jones. Between Skinner and Hornaday, they've won 7 of the 8 races, and I think it speaks to the fact that these 2 Winston Cup teams, indeed the Earnhardt and Childress operation, teammates in chase of the Winston Cup championship, but rivals here as truck owners in the Craftsman series, came out of the box ready to rock and roll. They won 7 of the 8 races so far. Everybody else is playing catch up, but as Skinner said tonight, apparently somebody thinks that somebody else is starting to win.
That's what you know, and you ask who won the 8th race. Kenny Schrader won the 8th truck race out in Saugus, California.
Swindell, Miller, Butler, Sprague, Bliss, Strait, Hornaday, Ruttman, Sedgwick, Lagasse, your top 10.
And Skinner's already gained the spot. We had him in 13th. He's already up to 12th. Keselowski was a lap down in 13th, so evidently one of the trucks that was in the top 13. I guess we just miscounted a moment ago. Meanwhile, they are coming down and going to be seeing the green flag. We're going back racing in just a second.
Way they can Swindell hold these guys off.
That's going to be difficult. Butch Miller, the longer the race goes in that Rebestas truck, number 98, the better he seems to get.
We're back at it at Bristol. Swindell gets a great jump, picks up right where he left off. Jones goes to the inside on Sprague down the backstretch. Skinner, look out, in trouble, hits the wall.
Oh, man.
Skinner got together with Kerry Teague. It ain't bent that bad. Get your hoof in and keep on trucking. No yellow.
Man, how can he be driving that truck as bent as that right front has got to be?
It hit pretty hard.
It hit real hard.
It looks like it's behaving. Well, now he's slowed down.
He's slowed down. He's trying to run to a caution flag. If he could just get to a caution.
It'll be the caution.
We see Corellius back out in the total performance. Let's watch a replay as we see Skinner on the outside of Kerry Teague. Comes off the corner and just makes some contact. Knocks him out of shape. When he saves the truck, bam! I mean, he hit that thing awfully hard.
He had to have hurt that truck. It continues to circulate. He needs a yellow for help. Skinner falling back into the field as up front Swindell continues to show the way. That was the proverbial great piece of driving, though. I'll tell you what, keep that thing from going around. Now I'll put you on the spot. Did he come down on him, or did I think come up the racetrack?
A racing accident you're always going to see here at Bristol.
You got to go for the spot.
You just got to go for the spot. You got to come down as quick as you can, and the truck on the inside is going to stay there as long as he can.
Swindell is trucking. There's the in-car, the in-truck look from Hornaday out the back.
Must be Joe Ruttman.
Ruttman probably. Yeah, there it is. 84. Most popular vehicle in America, the Ford F-150. Looks pretty good racing trim as well. And if Hornaday had mirrors, he'd be getting a good look at it as Ruttman tries to pull his way by. They're outside the top 5 at the moment.
And Skinner is on the apron. Skinner in the Goodrich truck on the apron. Slow coming off turn 2. So Skinner will not win his 5th race tonight. There he is.
That thing had to be behaving pretty badly. He didn't get the caution that he needed. a caution and a couple of laps might have given him the opportunity to make something of staying out there, but now it's just a case, I think, of the risk being too high. Time to stop, fix it, get back out, get what points you can.
Bodine made a move like he was going on the outside of Rutman.
Number 7, same as in Winston Cup.
Mike Bliss looking back at the Papa John's front.
Right behind him, Rutland. So you've got the two on-truck cameras running nose to tail right here. Ooh,
there goes Hornaday trying to get on the inside of Bliss. Can't make it. He had a nice run, just couldn't quite make it.
Bliss gets the drive off the corner, opens the gap back up. That's 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. And I can't see who's behind Bodine.
And Sammy Swindell had a pretty good lead, and Butch Miller in just a couple of laps has closed up right on the back bumper of Swindell. Now if he can just get him caught in traffic and get by, Butch Miller, veteran at situations just like this. Marty Reed, how bad is Skinner's truck?
Well, Benny, they had to change the right front. You were right. He was trying to nurse it around. They pounded out the sheet metal that was blocking and cutting the tire, but that's what happened. The tire finally let go. He's down a couple of laps, but he's back out there now.
Skinner has won 4 races, led the points coming in here tonight. He's right in front of the lead truck of Swindell as Miller goes down on the inside. This could be the pass right here. And he had found Skinner there. The last truck couldn't get around. Let me tell you about Butch Miller. He leads this series in one category. He has had 8 top 10 finishes. He hadn't won a race yet, but he has more top 10 finishes than any other driver in the series. Same basic point system as Winston Cup. Consistency pays. He's second in the battle for the championship, even though he has some race.
Now we see Rutland trying to get on the inside of Hornaday. This is back for about 6th or 7th spot.
Well, they all got around Bliss, didn't they? Is that what's happening here? Riding with
yes, he did get him.
Yeah, there goes Rutman around Hornaday, so he picks up a spot. So he's picking up right where Skinner left off, marching to the front. 84 of Joe Rutman. And somewhere is watching and smiling, and Miller's ready to take another shot at the channel lock Ford, and if he doesn't make it work, Toby Butler says, I'm ready to take a turn too.
Tell you what, the last 2 truck races, Toby Butler and Ortho Truck has really been running well.
Bliss has indeed backed up about 5 or 6 spots. Whoa, look at that pass. That was like surgery.
Takes another spot. He's up into 4th now. Let's go back to the lead and see how much success that Butch Miller is having with Sammy Swindell, and the answer is not much.
Meanwhile, Rutman has some room to run and will try to close down on these guys. He has broken free of the traffic for the moment, but it's probably, what, a 6-7 second gap to the leader, so he's got a ways to go.
Hornaday looking back at Jeff Bodine, the Exide battery truck. Bodine trying to get to the inside.
Bodine likes this truck deal. He's got his kid running the truck shop. His kid wants to do some truck racing. Give Jeff another opportunity to get out there and mix it up. And, of course, all of the Winston Cup guys have shown some interest in... Ooh, there's a nice shot out of that. The Winston Cup guys have shown some real interest in this series because the trucks run the 9-to-1 compression motors, which many of us had anticipated would become the Winston Cup power plants of next year. Turns out that's not going to happen, at least not next year.
Not going to happen in 1996. I think it will happen somewhere down the road, but NASCAR is not ready to do that in 96.
In fact, I think part of the reason is that between Busch Grand National and this series, they've sucked up the supply. They're concerned about the ability of the engine builders to make that conversion once they come that quickly. So they had never announced that it was going to happen. Everybody was assuming it was going to happen. This is a real good race. He's going to ding up that right front a little bit here for us, and we're all going to get to watch it right out of the Papa John's back end as we go back up front with the leaders and watch Miller doing his work. Swindell's handling this traffic very effectively so far. Miller, number 98, a truck length behind. The lapper is 51, Kerry Teague, right in front of the leaders.
There we see the race is still raging between Hornaday and Jeff Bodine. Churchill.
Hornaday has been consistent this evening, but has never gotten to the front. Of course, none of those guys who missed the driver's meeting started the backhand. Bodine gets inside.
Can't make the pass.
That's a good pitch. Scott's keeping it glued to the bottom. He's currently 4th in the points, 75 back. And the traffic, he goes side by side.
Now he's got him behind Breback. Jeff Bodine, they're going on 3 abreast down in turn 1. Uh-oh, there's Bliss in the wall.
Yellow is out as Bliss hits the fence. Marty.
Guys, I can tell you what, this truck, you know how sometimes a change and it goes too far? Came down here, you guys were talking about how he was backing up. The truck got extremely loose on him. He said it was all he could do to hold on to it. And obviously, he couldn't hold on to it just long enough.
So Bliss has knocked the front end off number 2. Truck had gone loose. They changed the shock trying to fix it. Apparently the fix was temporary because he was backing up big time just before the crash. Take another look at the impact here. He's already gone around.
Now he goes up and now he's going to hit the wall.
There's where he's going to get it.
He was still driving that thing, trying to get it going, but unfortunately up in the wall.
So Jimmy Smith's drive back to Bristol from California in the new $750,000 motorhome ends with damage to the truck. Second place is the first loser, say the shirts. We'll be right back. 50 laps the distance, 107 are down, and Swindell continues to hang on. Miller and Butler and Ruttman all putting pressure on him. This yellow will bunch them all back up. Ruttman about 7 or 8 seconds back. Will now be right on the rear deck, the tailgate, if you will, of Toby Butler's machine. Repair efforts continuing down there among the Smith contingent on Mike Bliss's truck. They've been in and out of the pits trying to stay, trying to avoid losing an additional lap. And he's got an onboard camera. We ought to be able to see this. There we go. Yeah.
Just around he went.
It didn't exactly take a set there, did it? It just flicked her in and it kept right on turning. So
the 3 truck keeps coming back in the pits, and I'm told that he changed tires, and the NASCAR officials, the SuperTruck officials, are going to penalize him 5 laps for changing tires on the caution flag, which are against the rules. He is her points leader. We can see an average finish of 5.5, and he's only had 1 bad race this year. He finished about a 19th or 27th or once before.
Blew the motor in our first telecast, as a matter of fact, at Tucson. Marty?
Well, you're absolutely right on the penalty. They are making the tire change, and the truck is just a handful for him ever since the contact with the wall. And I think what's happening is that the truck keeps going down, and now Mike's wanting to go, and the NASCAR official holds him up, and now he finally gets out, but he will be penalized. Let's also update you on the number 1 P.J. Jones truck. This is unbelievable. He is actually burning his back in the car, in the truck, and they poured water down inside. He stopped during a green session there, that last run, and you could literally see the steam just coming off of the metal seat area that's around him. And unfortunately, Benny, you may be able to attest to this, actually the water does a nice temporary job, but as it continues to bake in there and sort of steam out, it's going to get to be like a steam bath, and it's going to end up being even more severe.
Yeah, instead of baked, it becomes broiled. And that's exactly Jimmy Wharton drove the Hooters car at Pocono, and that's exactly what happened to him. It burned the seat was so hot that he had to get Jimmy Spencer to get the car.
Not much fun. We're back to green on lap 111. 6th caution of the night. Swindell got these restarts figured out. Butch Miller right with it. There's the 3rd place truck for 21 of Cody Butler, and big gap there.
Joe Ruttman back up to 4th place in the 84 truck.
Wow.
Oh, the lead.
Look at that pass.
Butch,
right under it.
Butch Miller has the lead. The fastest truck in front.
That was pretty. And just that quickly. Butler and Rutman have caught Swindell. Sammy may be going backwards here.
So Rutman's truck backfired down in turn 1. I don't know what that's all about.
Miller is the leader.
Did it backfire again?
Yep, sure enough.
And Rutman on the outside, ain't no way.
Joe may try to find a way.
He is trying his best. He feels like that's the only way he's going to get by. Now he's going to try it on the inside.
He tried to get Butler to make a mistake, and he did. And he gets to the bottom, takes a little bit of that berm to work with, and makes the pass into third spot. Rutman has a very good truck here. That baby's working.
He is working.
Top 4. Rutman started 22nd.
Going to see Sprague losing spots. He's trying to get by the 75 of Sedgwick. But there's some slow trucks up in front.
BJ's in the middle of that with his onboard camera. Sedgwick's up on the outside of him as they go down the chute.
And Bob Strait, that's the 37 truck right in front of Hornaday. They go by Shelmerdine.
Yes, that Shelmerdine used to be crew chief for Earnhardt. Skinner has come in and paid his penalty and is back out there, but he was 16th. He'll be well down from there now, so it's not been a great day for the championship point leader, beginning when he missed the drivers meeting. It just went downhill from there.
Butch Miller still leading, and I tell you what, he better hope that Swindell holds up Joe Rutman just a few more laps, because if Rutman gets to the front, he is awfully fast in that red 84 truck. Owned by Mark Semo and Ernie Irvin, the 84 truck.
Sedgwick in on the outside of T.J. Clark, putting him another lap behind. Sedgwick has run pretty consistently here tonight, but he's never run with the leaders. He's currently
Here we go. Ooh, Rutman trying once again to get on the inside. Can't quite make it.
He knows he needs to hurry, though, doesn't he?
He does know. He can see that scoreboard every time he goes down the backstretch. There's a scoreboard up in 3 and 4. He can see that. He knows he's running out of laps.
30 to go. 120 are down. 150 the race distance. Sports Center coming up immediately after the race, so hang with us. Sammy Swindell of the 38, the sprint car star. Pressured by the veteran Joe Rutman, trying to get to the second spot so they can then have the opportunity to run down the leader of the race, Butch Miller, number 98, who has yet to win his first Super Truck race of the season. He's second in the points, and he's hoping that will be the night.
And right now, the Ford trucks have not won a Super Truck race, and they're running 1, 2, 3, 4.
Once you get it right, you get it right.
As a matter of fact, Jeff Bodine is in 5th, so the Ford trucks are running 1 through 5.
You made the point earlier, though, that the dominance of Chevrolet in this series has been less a grand dominance than the dominance of 2 teams. Drivers Hornaday and Skinner having won 7 of the 8 races. In reality, in the points, Miller and Rutman are 2nd and 3rd, so they've been good all year.
They have been good. Ernie Irvin has done a good job putting this team together. He and his dad, Vic. And here goes Rutman, but the traffic is there. He can't get by.
Tap there, just right to think about it.
And Butch Miller going by, lost some car lengths to these 2nd and 3rd place, and Rutman trying to get on the inside, and here comes Butler on the outside. Toby,
Look out, Toby. You can hurt yourself at Bristol doing that. Toby gave it a shot and then got the nose out there just when he needed to. It was nice work. The traffic is a big factor. Miller got hung up in the last batch, and meanwhile, 2nd, 3rd, 4th catching him.
And Jeff Bodine is right on the back bumper of Toby Butler. There he is, the Exide battery truck. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5 nose to tail.
Bodine, as we saw there a couple of minutes ago, with more traffic experience on this racetrack than anybody else, including Rutman. He knows his way around here. We go by PJ with comparative ease. PJ continues to bake.
You want to call passing that Bristol relative ease.
There goes Keselowski, the other Dodge. Huge disappointment if you've just joined us for Jimmy Hensley, who had a Dodge out front and dominated this race for about the first, 35, 36 laps, then broke.
Engine broke on the Dodge. Here we go. Oh, Is that Toby Butler? Yes, it is.
The ortho number 21 has spun. He was 4th.
He's trying to get it started. He does get it started.
And up the left rear, Butler was involved in the 3-way battle, which actually I guess has become a Ford 5-truck battle for 2nd place. All this happening right behind Miller. Let's see if we can sort out how it happened here.
What's going in the corner all by himself. Gets in the corner, the back end goes around, goes up, bam, smacks the wall. And as he comes off the wall, truck drivers did a great job in missing him.
A little loose going in for Butler. We're going to take a break here with 19 laps to go to decide the Pizza Plus 150 at Bristol International Raceway. This is going to be exciting. For a truck race, as we close in on midnight Eastern time, Hornaday has elected to pit one of the drivers who has contributed to the Chevy dominance of this series in 1995. It's inaugural. There you see it, 8 wins, 8 poles. Look at the laps led here. That list of poles includes the fast qualifying effort here today of Mike Skinner. And that's about the only thing that's gone well for Skinner here today, as he was first penalized, had to start at the back, and then crashed the truck, and then changed a tire and got penalized for that. And he is way downfield, series point leader, and that could produce a change, and almost certainly will produce a change in leadership here tonight. Let's go to pit road and Marty Reed.
Well, Toby Butler came in and they made some initial repairs. It looks like they're geared up and they're going to bring him back in. He did not want to go a lap down, as the damage is really pretty severe on the left rear, and I think they may have to take a look at that tire. So we'll keep you posted. Also, some other cars look like they're coming back in. Yes, Mike Skinner's back in again. We've already documented his travails for the evening.
Butler 8th in the series standings.
And we're going green next time. That's why Butler chose not to come back in the pits, because they're going to throw the green. He wants to stay out there and save just as many positions as he can. He's going to try to finish this thing on the lead lap if he can. Pace truck off the track. Butch Miller just going to maybe let him get from 2nd to 3rd to 4th, or 3rd to 4th, without making any kind of big mistakes. Get away from these guys, not catch any traffic in the next 16 laps, and win me one.
Here we go. Miller brakes cleanly, opens up a bit of a gap over Swindell. Swindell gets Rutland all over here. His tailgate. Rutland gets a little loose. Back end steps out as Bodine comes up to join the fun in number 7. And Sedgwick right behind them.
There goes Joe Rutland.
Look out. Boy, Joe set that up pretty. And Bodine says, thank you for opening that door. I'll just drive right through it. And Swindell says, doggone it, I still don't have the hang of this.
Now then, can they catch Butch Miller?
You're the expert. Don't ask the question. Tell us the answer.
I think Joe Rutland can catch him, but now whether or not he can get by him in just a few laps remaining, that's another question.
You've been liking Rutland ever since he started this charge, haven't you?
Yes, I have. His truck has been running very, very well.
137 complete. He's got just 13 laps to do it.
And Jeff Bodine is no slouch. That X-side truck running well. And we see Jack Sprague taking over a spot from Bob Strait. That was the 6th spot.
6th position. And here's the gap back up to Butch Miller, who continues to truck. 138 complete. How much is he looking in his mirrors?
Well, boy, this is a tough place. Tough spot to be in, because you want to watch the mirror, but you don't want to watch the mirror so much that you lose your synchronization, driving around the racetrack, how you've been doing things.
You just want to cut fast laps right now. You want to run that truck just as hard as you can run it.
We can see that Joe Rutland has just about caught Butch Miller. As a matter of fact, Rutland is pulled away from Bodine.
Miller will get way wide, though. That truck will be real hard to pass. Passing is not easy at Bristol anyway. 10 laps to go. What do you look for here? How do you find your turn-in point? What do you use for references on this high-bay racetrack?
Well, you just drive it down the straightaway to about right there, start going for the bottom.
Nothing scientific about it.
Really aren't.
I'll tell you, this is going to be a brutal 9 laps, I guarantee you. Rutland's all over him.
Butch Miller almost loses control, gets it out of shape,
it's over because Bodine is right there saying, now he's all shook up. I'm going to get him before he calms down.
You know, Rutland drove away from Bodine just a moment ago, but right now it looks like that maybe he flat spotted the left front or something down there, but Bodine seems to be as fast as Joe Rutland right now.
Guess where that leaves Butch Miller? Third.
So what else is new, right?
4 races in a row. This is it, the shootout, the showdown between a couple of Winston Cup veterans, Joe Rutland and Jeff Bodine, with 5 to go in the traffic. It doesn't get a whole lot better than this. I tell you, this truck racing stuff's exciting, Benny. This is going to be a great finish.
We go by Skinner one more time. Now the slow cars getting out of the way. Let these guys decide who's going to win this thing on the racetrack.
4 to go as they cross start finish. Joe Rutland, the leader, over 30 years in the racing business. Jeff Bodine trying a new venture in 1995, and it's helping to rejuvenate his spirit after some of the personal problems that he's had. With 3 to go, the gap is 3 feet from first to second. You can't follow him around like that and win a race.
No,
something.
He wants to get by right now. Here, this might be his chance. Randy Churchill and Bree back. Bodine has no choice but following by Churchill. There's Bree back. He'll fall in by. But you see, he gained 2 car lengths. That might be just enough. Just enough to win the race.
Rutland's going home, isn't he? Lap and a half from home. White will fall this time on Joe Rutland. Ernie Irvin is jumping up and down. Tickled to death, I'm sure, to see this outcome. A lap to go. And it's Rutland's to lose. Bodine can't drive by from here, I don't believe. A truck-length difference as they haul him down into that 36-degree banking for the final time. Off turn 4 and headed for home. Ford is finally 1-1. Joe Rutland did the number, and it is a 1-2 sweep as Bodine comes across right on his tailgate. And finally, the F-150 will go to victory lane here at Bristol. We're going to be doing the quick out of here. Remind you that Sports Center will be coming up next. The celebration is on, and that was well deserved. He had to start in the back, did a terrific job to get it to the front. Here's how he won it.
We see Butch Miller gets the truck just a little out of shape as he comes off 4. Gives Rutland the chance to go on the inside. Joe takes advantage and watch as he smokes that left front. Wow, that's the brakes. He hit the brakes so hard that he locked up the left front. But he's on the inside of Butch Miller, takes the spot, and holds on to the victory.
For the 5th time in a row, Butch Miller will finish 3rd. The runner-up was Bodine. The NASCAR SuperTrucks by Craftsman pull into pits. With the exception of this guy, Joe Rutland has won the Pizza Plus 150. We'll take a look at the finish order, and then we're going to be clearing out of here. We want to thank Marty Reed for doing a terrific job down in the pits. You get on overtime by midnight, then you'd be no, never mind. We've got my friend Parsons here on both networks tonight as we wrap up the truck race. He'll be back tomorrow night live at 8 o'clock with the All-Pro Show. You working that with a doctor? We're covering this racing weekend here at Bristol. 15-second Sports Center is up. This is Dave Despain saying congratulations, Joe Rutland, on a hard-earned and well-deserved victory here at Bristol International Raceway. So long, everyone. Thanks for being part of the show tonight. Big wave.
West Coast races completed. The wheels of the Super Trucks roll east, over the Rockies, and into America's heartland. The Super Truck heroes are poised and ready for the next green flag, anxious for the chance to get back on the track and to get back into it. Motorsports presents live exclusive coverage of the Western Auto 200 for NASCAR's SuperTrucks by Craftsman Series. From I-70 Speedway in Odessa, Missouri, where yesterday this race fell victim to rain, but today the racetrack is reasonably dry, so are the parking areas. We're set to go racing despite gusty winds. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Joy. Ron Hornaday Jr. will start on the pole because this race will start by point standings. This is a good place to be on the pole.
It is. The Papa John's Pizza Chevrolet is running excellent today. Doug Richards and the guys done a great job, and never been here at I-70, and it's going to be great to see what the first lap's like.
Now, you got a bit of a car wash in practice today.
I did. I just tried too hard coming off at turn 4 there, and I got into the mud a little bit, and took about 20 minutes to wash it off, but everything was great. Nothing's wrong with the truck.
Okay. Well, let's go out to the area that is still a bit damp from water seepage. Ralph Shaheen is there.
This is the problem area here at I-70 today. This is on the backstretch, and we actually have a stream of water running right down the center of the racetrack. There are cracks in the pavement, and those cracks have water seeping up through them, flooding out portions of the racetrack. And it's not just here on the backstretch. It's coming off at turn 2, down in turns 3 and 4 as well. And this is very tricky for the drivers. We've had quite a few of them spin in this portion of the racetrack because this is one section where you're really trying to apply power to the track surface, trying to make the truck hook up, and they're having a lot of problems with that here today. Now, one driver who has had great success here at I-70 is former ASA champion Butch Miller, and he's standing by with our Glenn Jarrett.
Well, you're exactly right, Ralph. When it comes to experience, nobody here has more than Butch Miller. How about it today, Butch? Is that experience going to be a big factor, particularly because you didn't get much practice?
Well, you never know. Tracks like this are, you know, like for a guy like Hornaday or Skinner, it doesn't matter to them. You know, a track is new to them for the first 5 minutes, and then they're as good as anybody.
Well, you're starting on the outside of the front row today, a good qualifying position because you didn't have to qualify.
What do you mean I didn't have to qualify? I thought that was very, very strategic. It was a terrific effort. I mean, what more could you